Hello, good afternoon. Adonis here again. It's been a while. Man, this thing's crooked. That's a little bit better. Uh, it's been, I think it's been like 2 weeks since I recorded my last video. I just wanted some time to pass to make more of a, a little bit longer of a video than just a short one. Because last video I recorded was before the ice storm, right? Well, ice came and went, but it did bring some issues with it for sure. Because what I recorded I think it was Friday or Saturday. I recorded my last video. It was I think the day before the ice storm showed up. Uh, because it came Saturday night. I know that. Sunday I didn't go anywhere. Well, I didn't go to the gym because the ice, the ice were on the roads. It wasn't gonna be melting anytime soon since it was very cold. And Monday I went to work. Well, got late just because normally driving to work 60 miles per hour, now it's like 10 and 15 miles, makes a huge difference. But I mean, going to work late wasn't like really an issue, right? It was just like, oh yeah, going so slow, you're gonna end up late going around the same time you leave usually. I left a little bit early, but not enough, right? And the bridge I usually cross to go to where I work at, they shut it down, but the bridge couple miles down was open, so I had to go down there, and but I would tell you it wasn't too bad for the most part. There was definitely some slipping, sliding, especially where I lived. But then there was one stretch. There was a good stretch that it was pretty bad. Pretty sure there was some black ice there, because I mean, the car in front of me was like, I thought he was going to go in a ditch. He was losing control, and then when I went over where he was losing control, same thing happened to me. And then you have cars behind you getting on your bumpers, like, buddy, back up. Don't you see us two up here swishing and swimming left and right? It's like, come on. But like after that part, it was fine. It's just like, come on, guys. It's like, back it up. I don't want you hitting me when you losing control. Clearly, we were losing control, but so there was that. Saturday when I came to work before that, ice storm showed up. It was really cold. The sliding doors for our facility wasn't working. Tried fixing it. It would work, and then it wouldn't work. It was that got through the whole day. So pretty much, people had to just manually crack. Like, I had the door just cracked open, so people had to just push it, you know, open it manually. And that was fine. One day I came in. I mean, there was no issues, right? Door, I mean, of course, door still wasn't working, but like facility wise, it was fine. So I'm like, okay, cool. Everything went well. A couple people showed up, but besides that, pretty slow day. No one showed up, no one really called. And then at the very end of the day, this lady who she got an increase for a unit. It was on her husband's name, but she's the one that pays for it. She was like, she was just going. She was wishy washy. She kept going back and forth. I'm like, look, I can't really do much about the rate, but I would advise getting it. You can rent online, get a small unit, move your stuff over before your next payment's due, save you a lot more money, right? So that's what she did. She showed up, and I was like, yeah, we can go take a look at the unit. But like I said, she kept going back and forth and wasn't too sure. And so I was like, look, show me your. She was like, oh, she asked me if I want to look at the unit. I'm like, yeah, sure, so I can get a better idea. So we went to look at her unit, and then she was like, she heard this noise. Like, do you hear that? Like, it was like dripping. I'm like, yeah. Mind you, it's a 3-story building. We're on the ground floor and we hear this. So I'm like, oh, buddy. And mind you, it was like 20 minutes before closing. So I went down the hallway, went around the, went down the hallway, went around the corner, and I'm just seeing do of water coming from like the ceiling or like the side of the ceiling. I'm like, oh my god. And I'm still having to help this customer. I'm like, okay, look, we'll go up there. Let me get some mop buckets, wet floor signs, everything, right? We went, buddy, buddy hit, buddy hit those brakes in front of me. So I'm like, what the heck? Okay. Um, what do you call it? I lost my train of thought with this traffic. I tell you, people can't drive these days. Yeah, I got the wet floor sign and everything. We went up to the third floor. Luckily, where her unit, the unit she rented, was at, the it was near where the leak was coming from, the roof leak. So we went up there, and it's just water, huge puddle of water coming from, who know. It looks like it was underneath the unit. I'm like, holy snap! I'm like, great. So I'm like, look at the unit, and because like I said, she kept going back for look. If you want to see the other size, it's right, couple units down. Take a look at it while I'm here, and I'm there trying to mop it up, put wet floor signs, but like it is a lot of water. I can't mop this up, and so it was just like, oh, buddy. And so I'm like, look, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be like based on what I saw from the unit, it was gonna be very tight. But I'm like, look, if you wanted to save money, this is the only way, right? So I'm like, okay, look, because I'm trying to kind of like, you gotta leave. I gotta, take care of this. Um, so we went down before she left, she's like, you know what? It's gonna be such a pain. Can you like bring me right down to like, blah blah, and I'll be fine with it. I'm like, why didn't you just say that in the first place? So so what I did was I moved her out, issued the refund because she rented the same day, so I can do that. And then I just put in a request to adjust the rate. And then I got my phone with my boss. My district manager was like, "Hey, big situation. It is leaking crazy from the roof, or somewhere from the roof is leaking because of the ice. It's probably melting, and I just want to let you know that." And it's like, okay, well, send me pictures. I, send pictures when I. By the time everything was said and done, what I could do with the mop and wet floor signs, everything, I came back in the office. It was like 2 or 3 minutes left. So, so I called my coworker that was gonna be here tomorrow, the next day. I was like, hey, or I was on the phone with her after I got off the phone with my boss. I got on the phone with her while I'm doing that. I'm like, hey, this situation, just be heads up, you know. But but the thing is, it's like, I was telling my coworker, in hindsight, it was a good thing that lady showed up and we had, and we went to take a look at the unit. Otherwise, I would have been in office completely unaware because I only went out there in the morning, right? Usually we just go out there in the morning. Something comes up for us to go back out there. I went out there in the morning. Like I said, it was no issues, nothing, right? But I'm guessing throughout the day, the ice was melting, right? And uh, kind of skipping ahead, we got the roof fixed and everything. But what the issue was we have a gutter in the on the on the roof. It's slanted like that, right? So the water should just go off. Well, in the corner of the that roof, it's kind of like like S shape. So there's a section that like, if in this case ice builds up, the water kind of just stays there, and there's a gutter on the bottom section where the water that's where that water drips down to. Well, my guess is that gutter got frozen over, so that water had nowhere to go, and so all the ice that was melting, the excess water, just mounted up, and either it built to a certain height that it eventually found an opening somewhere on that roof, and just went crazy. and and so my coworker, she called me the next day and was like, hey, this is going on. She had to mop a whole bunch of water and everything, but my district manager, luckily, he showed up and was able to get a hold of some roofers to show up that same day, but they couldn't do anything. That's like I'm glad they showed up, but they couldn't go on the roof because first of all they showed up like at the end of the day, so like sun's going down, they have no visibility, and the ice there's still plenty of ice up there. And then like you guys couldn't show up a little bit earlier, but it is what it is. And the thing is, the good thing about them was that one of the customer that was affected the most, she at least showed up and was and got assistance from the roofers. For whatever reason, they're like, hey, we can we can help them out, help her out, move her stuff, or transfer, move her stuff over to this other unit. She has to make sure signs a waiver, blah blah. So my coworker just fixed up a random waiver, a makeshift waiver, and I'm like, hey, whatever needs to be done. So the day I got there, I'm like assuming it's gonna be bad, right? No, it was just a little bit of water in the two units upstairs, and I just quickly mopped it up like nothing, and then I'm like, okay, and I see, but like at this point, I'm guessing at this point the ice that was blocking the gutter had already melted, and the water was flowing freely because I went up on the roof, and it's not like we're not supposed to go on the roof, but I had to make sure like to see where this water was coming from if I could see it, and well, I checked, and there, yeah, like I can tell where this leakage was coming from. Not exactly the whole, but like there, most of the ice was gone on the roof. It was just the very far corner that S shape I was talking about. It had a shadow. There's a little piece of metal. A couple of feet high up, that's creating a shadow that's making the ice, that little section of ice, still there. The sun wasn't melting it since the shadow was blocking it from the sun. But I was moving the piece of the ice because most of the ice was really just thawing out. I couldn't really see where it was going, like where the entryway was, but I mean, I could see that, yeah, falling where it went to the very back of the roof. I saw the gutter, and yeah, there was ice surrounding it. So I'm like, yeah, so there was probably a good chunk of ice that was there, froze it over, backed it up, and whatnot. So fast forward, uh, I got to fast forward the day I showed up on Wednesday. Last Wednesday, we're talking about time wise. Last Wednesday, I showed up Wednesday. The door was working fine, and I'm like, huh. I say fine, like I popped it back in, and it started working normal. I'm like, okay. I still wanted a vendor to come out to take a look at it, see what they can see from it. And so they showed it Friday, but since it was working, the guy couldn't really do anything. He tweaked like a metal plating that was screwed onto the door just for security on the inside. But besides that, there was nothing. He didn't do anything like technical to the door. So it's like, okay, well, the door's fine. It's still a little finicky though. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's working. Like today is working all fine. You just kind of have to mess with it sometimes. It may not work properly, but for the most part, it's working fine. And the roofers, they showed up earlier this week. Finally, uh, they they showed up Thursday because I was off Thursday. They showed up Thursday. Well, they showed up with me earlier this week to do the patching of the roof, but they needed to come back Wednesday. They came Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday. Came out. I'm trying to think of the time because me and my coworker we were working together Tuesday, and then they showed up Wednesday morning. I'm like, you guys kind of came in yesterday, but they showed up. They did the roof job, and then they left. Like they were there like quick and in and out. Because by the time I did my walk, they came back. They were gone. I'm like, what the heck? Because I told them like I need you guys to do these other two jobs or take a look at it, right? And because one was a Spanish speaker, the other guy spoke Spanish, but he spoke a little bit English. So I was like, hey, How long are you gonna be out here? Are you gonna be here for a few hours? Like, yeah. Boy, you were lying. So, but I'm like, well, okay, you're me for okay. So, I didn't know how long the patch job was gonna be. So, okay, well, there's these two other jobs I need you to do or take a look at on the roof. He was like, okay. Well, like I said, not that long later, when I came back to the office, they were gone. I'm like, what? So I emailed them like, or the company. I'm like, hey, well, here's what happened. Blah blah. Like, oh yeah, they'll come out. They'll come out later this week. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, they were just here. They couldn't just whatever, right? So they showed up yesterday because I was off yesterday to take a look at it and everything. And they patched up the insulation for the unit that was heavily affected to it. And I'm guessing they took a look at the other two sections of the roof that needed to take a look at. And I went up there. It was the same day. It was Wednesday. It was. I went up there again to take a look at their jug. I'm like, they were just in and out quick. I'm like, I don't know about that. I went up there. I mean, and I told my coworker, I'm like, they made a mess up there. Like they were just like, it's some like white substance, like a whitish liquid. I guess what the roofers use to do patch jobs for like, sealing, like some sealant, white sealant to like from water and whatnot, liquids. Because we had a roofing company do another job similar to that last year, but it was like a long stretch of the roof. So I'm like, they used some different type to do. Cause they used like some sort of like paper or like cloth, and then they did that white liquid over it. These guys didn't, but like I said, they made a huge mess because there was like footsteps all over the roof, from the stains from the white. Um, and they like on the ladder too, they stained the whole thing. I'm like, quick and I mean, it's quick and easy, not the most professional job, but quick. It was a quick job, I'll tell you that. So, but looking, I'm like, okay, yeah, looking over the roof, seeing because where the leak happened, it was next to a window. So, like, if you see where the window is from the roof, you're like, okay, if you go a little bit to the right, this should be the area. So, they just slabbed on that white liquid all over the place in that section, and hopefully it doesn't leak. Um, so yeah, that's been the week there. So unfortunately, yeah, the ice storm brought some issues, but you know that's in the past now. And luckily, not too many. Those three people that were like mainly affected with it that we had to transfer. But besides that, I had called everyone that was like around the units. Most of them didn't answer. The ones that did show up and took a look at it. And they said they're fine. So I'm like, okay, cool. So pretty much, hey, okay. And now what? It's like 78 outside now, and it's like last week, like a week ago, it was still pretty cold. It's like that's Texas weather for you. So, but hopefully, if we do have a cold, it gets cold. It's not as cold as it was week and a half ago. So, let me know how your experience with the ice storm was. If you live, I know people up north they got snow and everything. We got like say it was just a little bitty where I lived. I know of course more up north and the state had more snow, but where I live, it wasn't too bad. So yeah, just let me know how it went. Hopefully, you didn't lose power or anything like that. Had an accident, from the from slipping in the ice. So that'll be it for today. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Take care. See ya.